All right. Getting into the session today, the group of you have been traveling northeast mostly. You've just barely turned east, following the farms that lead out of Elderthorn. Um, these farms are part of what sustains the Talfa, but also are the location of some mysterious illness that you've been trying to figure out what's going on. The first farm was owned by family called the Snow Beetles, and one of the younger members, Howl Snow Beetle, had his hand all locked up, clawed, and unable to utilize it. Obviously, this is a real uh, inconvenience for anyone who works on a farm with their two hands. You continued along this trajectory away from Elderthorn, and one farm leading to the next, and eventually discovered in the well of an individual called Joel, what you suspected to be some type of contamination, maybe, and you've postulated that maybe the groundwater has been infected somehow. These glowing specks of green, of what they are, you're not sure yet. They were discovered as Aeolus ran an electrical current through the water, and they sort of glowed with a luminescence. Briefly, while you were doing this investigation, some travelers were using the road that runs through Joel's property that divides some of his fields, fallow as they may lay, and they asked if they could get some water from the well for the horse, and through Siegfried's owl that was circling above, he learned that they had seems like a person tied up in a sack in the back of a wagon. The group of you were at odds for a little while, and then a cry came out from the wagon at this individual hearing other voices pleading for someone to save them. And a fight was had. These travelers imbibed these potions of dark ichor that they had, that they were storing around in pendants around their neck. The ichor is strangely reminiscent of the sap of the pinwood. And as they imbibed this, they took on bestial features, and became significantly stronger and more wily opponents. Although the group of you did dispatch them, not before one of them was able to turn tail and run, eventually losing Aeolus within the trees of the Pinwood, a few hundred yards to the south. While Aeolus returned from his excursion, the rest of you took a look at the individual who was trapped in a burlap sack, cutting them out, and discovered it to be none other than Gratol Darkhand, a particularly contentious individual from Dunnan's past. The orcish individual related to you a tale, believe it if you choose, of a group of individuals out of Armskirk hiring the deniers to act as guards and deterrents for any who would wander too far towards this operation of mining a few leagues to the east of here, once they had learned whereabout they were. And this had happened all through last summer and into the fall. And at the summation of it, Gratol did not feel quite okay with what was going on and decided to ruminate on the feelings a little bit with Lend. They weathered the winter, as the group of you now sort of already knew, with Siegfried's father up at the Lisette logging camp. and then disappeared a few weeks before the end of the winter. According to Gratol, those weeks were spent returning to Armskirk and looking for any aid. None to be found, they had taken a boat from Armskirk to Elderthorn, heard whispers of the group of you from the rumors in town, but before they were able to approach you, you had set off north. Now, being experienced trackers and not a full group traveling, they were able to try to get ahead of you a little bit, try to cut you off, but you're fairly positive that the footprints and tracks that you had seen were them being taken. Gratol says that they have no idea where Lend is, but because there's not them next to Lend isn't in the cart next to them, we'll see. But as it stands now, Gratol is asking for your help in finding this mine and the strange gems that they were digging up and throwing away rather than be used to barter or trade.
How healthy is their horse?
The horse? Make me an animal handling check.
Could I talk to Gratol for a second then?
It's a horse, Aeolus. It's not dead. It seems a little spooked, and isn't letting you get too close to it after the flurry of activity just now. But overall, decent. You don't see any sores or wounds on it, thankfully.
I'll turn to the rest of the group. We need to hurry back, and we need to inform Surge of Joel's well.
Don't we waste too much time if we're going back?
What, just so you can turn me in? I'm not going back there. He just threatened to turn me into authorities.
Yeah.
Not all of us.
Well,
I think somebody should take the horse and ride back. It'll be much quicker.
Siegfried raises his hand.
convenient.
Let him know.
Alright, Siegfried. Your task with getting the message back to Storm Surge. Let him know what we're about to do. Got that?
Yeah.
Alright. And the rest of us, we go on this little adventure of yours, Gratol. But before we embark, let me get a few things straight. First, I have command here, not you. You are our prisoner, and you are at our mercy. One fucking wrong move and your skull will become best friends with the tail end of my basher. Got that? Second, you do not ask for food and drinks. We give it to you when we think you need some. And furthermore, you are to stay away from our supplies. I'll turn to Willem, and I'll task you with that. Third, if you need to relieve yourself, I will be fucking accompanying you so you don't do anything stupid. And lastly, and most important, after this is over, you and I will have our second round, and this time, there will only be one survivor. If you try to run away from this, know that I will fucking hunt you down and I will find you. Trust me. Everything understood? Good. Dunnan turns away and then stops. And one more thing. And I headbutt them. And that's for calling me fat before.
They will
Then walks
attempt
away.
to dodge your headbutt. Go ahead and make an attack. Just roll one of your weapon attacks because your proficiency bonus.
Jeez.
They just sort of sidestep and give you a flick on the ear as you lunge past them.
Next time we'll hit. Trust me.
You need to get maybe a foot or two taller.
Hey, Danny, I've got some manacles. Maybe we should put that on him.
Well, better safe than sorry.
If we are going to be...
You want my help? I'm not going to do it in manacles. You can be sure of that. And then you can find the mine on your own.
As much as I appreciate your caution, done it. If we were to get into a scrap with anyone else on the road that possesses these abilities, breaking her out of manacles would take too much time.
You can be pretty sure that they are
sorry,
gonna
breaking
backstab us at the first moment they got. I don't trust them. I better have them in manacles than having us help fight. They're capable enough.
Speak for yourself.
But-
I was almost knocked
but-
on my ass again.
But if you want, then don't put them in shackles, but you have to watch them. And your blood will be your hands that are bloody then, not mine.
That's fine.
Gratol looks at you, Aeolus. You're more than welcome to watch me. They give you a wink.
Do not get seduced by their words. They have a way, I know. I was once a victim to them, but never again.
Ah, so an old lover's quarrel. Is that what this is?
No.
Gratol sort of just shakes their head. Donnie was a victim in the way he wanted to be.
Hmm. And all my fellow companions. But enough of that, you talk too much.
He got left out.
Let's move on. God, I hate your fucking guts. Let's go. Lead the way, Gratol.
You have a map.
I don't know, do we have a map?
One of you have a map of the area? I believe Siegfried would. Would you guys have given it to Siegfried, or so that way he could catch up, or would you have kept it yourselves?
I think if Siegfried had it, it would still be on him.
Okay, sounds good.
And Aeolus would have no reason to carry a map. Other than, like, the very edge of the pinwood that he lived by. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Ellerast had kind of looked at it a little bit, so with her higher intelligence score, she just looked at it real quick before he left. But she has an idea, but not
Answer your
not a
question.
real strong one.
We do not have a physical map, no.
No.
I think the group of you, if I'm recalling correctly, also were interested in going through the corpses at the beginning of the session as well.
Yes.
Because Gratol's going to equip themselves with some of the gear, but that would also make all of your characters, I think, be like, oh, right, there's a bunch of bodies here.
Yes. Aeolus would like to search through for anything useful as far as crossbows and crossbow bolts. And any instructions.
Ellerast will obviously look for some heavier pieces of armor.
Okay.
Probably not going to find anything, but
All right. So Aeolus, give me an investigation check, please. And Helaras, you're just looking for armor pieces.
pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Let me double check the stat blocks in that case then. All right. Aeolus, you do find a total of 71 crossbow bolts.
You are rich in crossbow bolts.
All of the dead mousy individuals that had the hand crossbows were using these. The larger individuals that had the tusks that grew when they imbibed the potion, they are all wearing hide armor. That's the heaviest armor that's here, and it's not great.
Not great.
Yeah.
We'll be able to do a quick search as well for a few specific things.
Sure. What are you looking for?
I wanted to see if I can recover any of the bottles that they had the substance in, and then just
Sure.
useful everyday items, spices,
Sure.
food that's not spoiled, etc.
Yeah, okay. Roll me a percentile dice for the bottles to see how many survive the impacts and damage that they took over the course of the kerfuffle. Okay. A good number of them actually survived. Despite Dunnan's bashing, you recover 6 of these potion bottles. They're a little bit larger than what you would expect for a standard healing potion. Healing potions are about the size of like a nail polish container. These are a little bit more bulbous in diameter as you look at them, but they're definitely flatter than a regular potion bottle. It seems like they're designed to be able to be worn about the neck and not sort of bulge out too much on the chest.
And I when have the opportunity, would wash all these out.
Noted. Okay, you go up to the well, rinse them out one by one.
Helarast is going to continue looking for any kind of melee weapon, another hand axe.
So the only melee weapons that you find are some heavily damaged short swords. They're manageable, but they might break. You're not sure if they roll too poorly mechanically. And the 2 Hurleys that the bigger ones were using.
What are those?
They would effectively be a maul.
Oh, a maul. Okay.
Yeah.
She'll take one of the mauls.
Anyways, I didn't get the chance. How's everybody doing today?
Doing well.
Blech.
I'm sorry to hear. I missed y'all.
Yeah.
Even if you're gonna mock me about it.
Me? Never. I'm the nice one.
Who told you that?
The voices in my head.
That's fair. That's fair.
Alright. Also, Helarast, you should have a sheet for Corwin in your journal now, so you can drag out the token whenever you need to.
Okay.
Forgot to mention it.
Great, thanks.
Spencer, was I able to locate a hand crossbow that was usable?
Yes, you were actually able to find 2 of them.
Awesome.
And we do still have space, despite Denny's beer, to store some stuff if we need to.
Aeolus is going to be taking one of the hand crossbows, just so that he may try to stay out of range.
Okay. So go ahead and add that, and just add the resource for the bolts, or if you're splitting them up to anybody else. Gratol has no interest in any of the bolts or hand crossbows. Actually, the group of you notice Gretel doesn't take any weapons.
And what's the maximum of crossbow bolts I can hold, isn't it?
40. 40 are within reasonable access.
Okay.
Because you buy them in sets of 20. And you can I allow you to have up to 2 sets sort of at the ready, so to speak.
Okay.
To get more than that at the ready at any point, you would need to spend a minute to undo your pack, fish them out of your backpack, and throw them back in like the quiver, like get them ready and queued, so to speak, to be able to grab more easily.
Right. Okay.
Because the crossbow bolts especially, they sort of clip into the quiver in such a way that they don't get dumped out as you're jumping, tumbling, climbing, things like that.
Yep.
But you don't store them in that type of thing. You store them in a bundle that's tightly wound and a bunch of leather wrapped around the tips of them so that you don't stab yourself. So to get them ready and clipped in to be able to draw them easily in the midst of combat, you need that full minute, at least.
That makes sense. Awesome.
Is there any leather
There-
strips or other leather that that would be fairly flexible?
Yeah, plenty. The two larger ones had hide armor on, so it's dried animal hides. It's not quite like treated leather. But the smaller ones did have like scrap leather garments. It looks like it's patchwork. But it's useful.
Yeah. Hellerast is going to pick up some stuff that now the hide armor, if it got wet,
Be heavy.
is it more like rawhide
No,
or is it in tan?
no, it's like a furred hide. So it's more like deer hide or elk hide, where the
Gonna
fur's
take-
been left on it. It might be warmer in colder weather, but it's a little cumbersome.
Hellerast is just going to grab a few scraps of the leather that are long enough to make maybe just a very thin strip of leather for tying stuff up. Because
Easily.
you just want,
Yep.
better than string, a little leather.
Sure. You can add a number of leather thongs to your inventory for that, however many you wanted to acquire within reason. Yeah. Any other looting that anyone else needs to do?
Just the food stuff. I tossed a roll in
The
there.
food. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Investigation. Got it. So the cart doesn't have anything in it. The only occupant of the cart was Gratol. The smaller ones each have about 2 days worth of rations on them. It looked like they might be a little bit old, maybe salvageable and useful. Just you put them at the top of your inventory. So that's collectively there was 7 of them, so 14 days worth of rations.
Okay. Might as well just toss that in the group stuff then.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. So 14 rations. Just do that.
Okie doke.
So, everybody finished?
Yeah. I think so. Unless they had piles of gold and coin. I think we're good to go.
And they did not.
Oh, then let's set out.
Okay. Gratol will be leading the way. So they will make a survival check, and one other person can make a survival check if they would like.
I will do the honors.
All right. Pretty good. Pretty good, Dunnan. All right. As you progress eastwards, it was about midday, roughly. A little bit before midday, when you finished up all of the things here at Joel's farm, and then set out. The first few hours sort of just fall away underfoot. They're slow, monotonous, and quiet. Every now and then you see off in the distance, always to the north of you, since you're initially traveling along the edge of the Pinwood before that starts to peel away to the south. You see a small structure or building of some sort. Looks like maybe shacks or sheds of outlying farms. Store tools, maybe. But continue going. For first few hours pass comfortably. Before you know it, it's about an hour before sunset. How long into this day did the group of you want to push?
I think like middle of the evening, like before it's getting dark.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be with your strategy check. You know about when it's going to be getting dark, so you are an hour away from like sunset, and after that it's 20-30 minutes to like total darkness. Especially because the Cloudspine Mountains, even though they are many leagues from you at this point, because they rise so sharply out of the continent of Aquan, darkness sets in pretty quickly.
Hillerast would suggest pitching camp before it gets dark so we can see that if we're not, we want to make sure we're not on somebody's land. You know, we don't need to piss anybody off.
The tilled fields and the like have sort of fallen away in the last hour
Oh,
or
okay.
so. Yeah, you saw a
Okay.
few buildings here and there, which could have been old buildings from previous farms, but they were always like far off in the distance, and none of them looked to be like inhabited homes or anything like that.
And how close are we to the Pinwood?
The Pinwood, I'll give you guys the map for edification purposes. So the Pinwood follows the Thornridge Bluffs coast. Should give it a sec to load. So you guys have crested the northern ridge of the Pinwood here. And now the Pinwood is moving away south to you. You can still sort of just barely see it on the horizon, but at this point the trees are 3 miles, 4 miles away from you.
So not much of a threat.
No.
Okay. Whatever you want.
Probably until sunset, and then get the camp ready for rest and prepare food and whatever.
Yeah, probably about there. All right. You find a clear spot to camp. The terrain over which you've been traveling has gotten significantly more comfortable, relatively. The sort of sandy and rocky, gravelly soil that the Pinwood is known for. Other reason it's not really there's not been a main effort to try to clear cut it and then use it for farmland. The soil's not good for it anyway. So you can't get the wood and you can't get the soil out of it. Why bother? It has changed into a more sort of dense and loamy clay. There's thick grasses as far as the eye can see to your north and east, pardon me, as you've entered this veritable savanna sort of biome that butts up against the northern edge of the Pinwood. And this is through that which you've been traveling. You find a particularly flat-looking spot where there's not really any undulations in the short tufts of grasses. They only come up to about your knee. And go about clearing the area some. It looks like a comfortable spot to be able to sleep. Anyone have anything as you're setting up camp or in the early parts of the evening that you wanted to accomplish?
I mean, go ahead, Kim. You first.
I was going to say, as we're sitting and eating and just like getting ready to settle down, Hellerast is going to pull out the pointy gross teeth for Corin from the monster. What the hell is the name of that monster? The first one we ever
The Needler.
met. Yeah.
The needle monster.
Needle monster. The needle monster.
That's what you named it.
I'm going to pull those teeth out and see if she can. What she wants to do is make Corin's little feet a little more dangerous. So she's trying to see if you can get little shoes on Corin.
Okay, so
like little stilettos.
All right, so make me just an intelligence check.
Okay.
Okay. One sec.
Okay.
All right. As you first of all, it consumes one of your spell slots to bring Corin back, since you used Corin in the last fight, earlier this day.
Okay.
But you burn one of your spell slots, bring Corin out, and then work on making these little stilettos. It takes you about better part of like 8 minutes or so, like sort of getting them right, and sort of getting Corin to like put the little feet in the correct spot, and then sort of like tiptoeing around for the next 2 minutes that Corin lasts, and then Corin vanishes and the stilettos sort of fall over.
So they don't stay with her, but she can wear them.
It doesn't look like it would be an offensive choice, but it's cute.
Okay. I want you guys to also like get this mental picture of Corin sticking just one little foot out from between Hellerast's boobs as she's trying to figure out how to make things think. There's one spider leg sticking out from her chest and then going back in and another one coming out. I'm trying to figure these out. Just for fun.
Yeah, I like it. All right.
Don't know how entertaining it is, but it probably is pretty entertaining.
Gratol watches with a large smile.
Danan would stay to himself and probably just maintain his equipment after that heavy beating they got in the morning.
You meticulously go through your gear. Piece by piece, you pull out the sort of waxy oil made out of like whale blubber and fish oil that you keep to maintain the leather parts of your armor, keeping them supple. You ritualistically, as you remove everything, carefully wiping everything down, you even take out your small sort of ball peen hammer and hammer out a few dents that popped up throughout the course of the fight from those heavy hurleys. It's a type of work that sits well in your head, Dunnan. Nothing else going on at the moment. The only thing that matters is there in front of your hands. Yeah. About 30 minutes of this, and your armor is looking close to showroom new. Who's going to be taking first watch?
Ellie will.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a perception check, please. Ooh, nice. All right. The last rays of the sun leave the air a little bit warmer here. But as the gentle breeze carries the sounds of wilderness past your ears, you settle in for the night as the air begins to cool. The sky fills with stars glittering in the clear, dark expanse above, and your campfire crackles softly as you feed it into your watch, casting flickering shadows across the faces of your sleeping companions. Feeling oddly content and at ease, the trappings of Elderthorn long behind you at the moment. This roaming nature appeals to you somewhere.
Mhm.
You hear the soft rustle of grasses around you, punctuated by the baying of some wild animal off in the distance. It doesn't spark any concern in you. It serves more to lull you through the time of your rest. Who are you waking for second watch, Hellerest?
Probably Aeolus.
Okay. Unless you're stirred to consciousness.
Is it that time already?
It is, babe.
All right. I also post up.
Okay. You have a pile of sticks and twigs to keep the fire going. As you sort of settle in, you see Gratol sort of turn in their sleep. They're not using any bedroll or anything. Not that the group of you provided them with anything. As you scan out over the flat horizon, you can't shake the feeling that you're being watched. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, almost an hour passes, you think. You try to ignore this, but this sense of unease lingers with you. Here, suddenly a piercing caw sort of breaks the silence. And you look over, and there's a large sort of piece of wood on the ground off in the distance, and you see this silhouette of a single raven sort of perched on a nearby tree, or on that piece of branch, pardon me. So it's staring straight at you with
How
a
far
sort
away
of
from the camp?
20 feet outside.
Aeolus will stand up and he'll grab his coat and he'll toss it over Gratol as he walks to the edge of the camp closer to the raven.
And just sort of lets out a caw and takes off, doing a lazy circle as it gains more altitude into the sky. You see the sleek feathers are shiny in the starlight, and you feel as it passes each rotation, you feel this icy grip tightening around your heart, deep in your chest, in a way that you want to sort of claw at it for a briefest moment, knowing that you can actually get inside and remove whatever ice is gripping you. You have an unsettling thought passing through your head of something stalking through the savannah. Dark, formless, with red eyes. And as this vision sort of twists itself through your mind, parting your thoughts like the blades of grass around you, you picture a third eye opening up in the center of its other two. And you sort of startle yourself. You're still sitting where you were for your watch. You didn't get up. You have this uneasy out-of-body experience for a moment. I'm not sure if you dozed off or what. The grasses around you rustle. You shiver slightly and realize your coat's not on you. It's over on Gratol.
Aeolus is going to spend the rest of his watch and part of next watch just doing suicides and herpes to try to shake whatever that was.
Okay.
He just absent-mindedly stays awake just a little too long.
Who do you wake for the third watch?
I think I will wake Willem.
Willem.
I was having the best dream about apple pie. What is it?
There's... Keep your eyes open.
Oh yeah, it's watch time. Ugh. And
And Aeolus will go to lay down, but he won't sleep.
Okay. Willem, I'd like a perception check from you as well, please. Give me your watch. As you rest, you sort of just keep an eye on the sky, get lost in your thoughts here and there. Apple pie, peach pie, cherry pie. It's listing all the different types of pie you can think of.
it happens. It's nothing like midnight pie.
Pies.
Oh god.
Your watch passes comfortably, Willem, uneventfully. Towards the end of your sort of daydream about pie, you feel a hand on your shoulder and look up and see a Gratol wearing Aeolus's coat. They've woken up.
What are you doing awake?
I slept long enough. What are you doing?
Yeah, watch, of course.
That's fair. Go get some more Z's. I'll stay up if you want to. Sun should be coming up in about an hour.
Now, as our friend Dunny has pointed out, they do not trust you. And I don't want to listen to one of their long-winded lectures if I were to leave you alone.
So be it.
I do appreciate the offer, though. Please stay within sight, though.
I'm not going anywhere. I want to find out what happened to Lemond.
That is fair. Hey, do you like pie?
More of a cobbler person.
I do make a good crumble. Can't say I'm much into cobblers, though.
This conversation has kind of woke Hillerast up, and she's less like listening to you idiots talk about pie. But she's going to wake up a little bit more, and she's not really comfortable with Gratol talking to Willem the way he is, so she's just going to take a little time and watch Gratol peacefully and quietly. You don't know she's up,
Yeah, maybe
but she's got your back. But she's got your back, Willem.
Fair.
Make me a stealth check, Halarast. Okay.
I was waiting for a 1 on that.
That's like openly like
The
turns
armband.
over to stare at you.
All right. You wake up Dudden for the final watch, Willem.
Would be the plan. And I would overlap for a few. I haven't updated my journal in a while, so
Okay.
just making sure Dunny there is doing well. I would, of course, wake him up to a fresh cup of ale, though.
Ale in the morning. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah, morning's still 40 minutes away.
See, I didn't even have to shake you. I just had to open up a nice, ale for you, and you popped right open.
There's
knew it
nothing
would
better
work.
than the sweet smell of ale. And it's never too early for your first cup. Hand me that.
Or
If you
too
please.
late. Yes,
Or
hands
too
over.
late.
Your friend has been up and about.
Don't call them my friend.
Oh, it was sarcasm. But,
Former associate. Let's leave it at that.
that was fair. They
Halarast at this point rolls over and goes back to sleep.
haven't done anything threatening that I can see.
Yeah. It's not what they do. It's their silver tongue I'm more worried about. I know, they can be charming, but don't let them sway you in any direction. That's the mistake I made in the past.
See anything
Learn
but
from my
charming.
past.
They don't like pie. How? What?
Yeah.
There's no charm in that.
That's a grave sin. They will pay for that, trust me. I love your pie. Keep them coming. I have always room for your pies.
We just need the ingredients. Anyways, I'm going to settle down for a few before I sleep.
Yeah. Have a
Let
nice
me know if you
rest
need
with
anything.
them. Dream of some pies.
Okay.
And I'd just spend a few minutes using my magic to just draw the, what had happened throughout the last couple days. It's been a little bit since I've updated, and then go
Got
to
it. Okay.
bed.
While it's still dark out. Correct.
Mm-hmm. But I'm doing it by magic, so
That's why I asked if you were doing it while it was still dark.
yeah, that would be the reason.
Okay. Dudden, you're up and about as Willem lays down. Gratol's sort of doing morning stretches.
Seems like your habits haven't changed.
Why should they?
Yeah, because Gratol Darkhand never changes, right?
See no
Which means,
catalyst
when are you
requiring me to change.
Yeah, well... You see,
You left
you learn
us.
from your experiences, but you don't. You think the way you do it, it's always right. Trust me, you're gonna learn the hard way. You're not always right. And I will prove that.
The world's made a lot of people that would take you for what you are. The only person that you can trust, barring extenuating circumstances, is gonna be yourself. Done.
That's where you're wrong. See these people here? They are family to me and I would gladly die for them. That's a concept you would never understand.
Well,
And
maybe you
that's
found some
why-
extenuating circumstances then.
And that's why you're gonna die alone. Nobody's gonna mourn you. Nobody.
If one dies
And
alone.
with that, discussion is over. I have no nerves for you. After this is done, you and I are gonna fight. And then we settle the score. And with that, he turns away.
The rest of your watch passes in tense silence. Done. Before the sun is up, and it's time to wake the rest of your companions from the long rest. Aeolus, I need a Constitution saving throw, please.
Yep.
You do not complete your long rest. You wake with a level of exhaustion.
Aeolus obviously not sleeping.
Just missed it.
He's, as everyone's packing up, Aeolus is going to go on a walk. And he's just going to spend the 45 minutes to an hour that it takes everyone to pack up, to eat, and he's just going to sprint.
Sprint?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he is full on like a 3-mile run.
Before he leaves, I would turn to Aeolus and say, Aeolus, do you need lessons in sleeping? I mean, every time you get up, you look more weary than before. Do you have trouble sleeping?
I don't know what you're talking about. I had wonderful sleep.
Can I insight him?
Sure. Are you trying to lie, Aeolus, or you're just saying it blatantly? They totally slept well, type of.
Just blatantly.
Okay.
But I'll throw a deception
Sure.
check.
I just
Done and
narrow my eyes.
the sarcasm is almost lost on you, but you do pick it up.
Something's off, Aeolus. You can talk to me or to the others. You're not alone. If something is bothering you, tell us. We might be able to help you. Do you need some morning ale? It wakes you up, trust me. Or do you
Aeolus.
prefer harder stuff? We also got rum.
Aeolus, before he takes off, quickly packs his stuff. Doesn't put his armor on yet. And he just looks up at Dunnan and looks past and looks to Gratol. I'll be right back. And he takes off on his run.
Darren just shrugs. Well, have it your way then.
Spencer, would I be able to heal with hit dice, though?
You could, yeah. You can,
Okay.
if you have any that you would like to spend, you may do that.
Nice. Nice. It's steady progression. Alright, cool.
And Will might have given you a snacky. If you didn't see it there on the chat.
Yeah. You can take note that you have a snacky.
One snacky. Okay. And what's that do?
To give you some temporary.
The end of a short rest, any creature who eats the food and spends one or more hit dice to regain.
Yeah, so that'll also give you 2 temporary health, so that'll help. But yeah, could also help you with that. I guess short rest you managed to get.
Sure. Okie doke.
Anything else in the morning?
Just would go over to Gratol and give him here's your ration for the day. But that's it.
So kind of you.
Too kind. How far are we away from our destination?
Could be a good long day. When we get close, we want to slow down the pace a little. Otherwise, we'd be risking alerting any potential new guard they've hired. I don't know if they have, mind you. I haven't been back since late fall.
How many were there when you last were at the mine?
When it was
recall?
my own team, we had 12.
Hmm.
Now, only Len and I, as far as I know, decided to not stay on. I don't know if someone left a few weeks after us or not, though. So, my guess would be at least 10. Roundabout.
It does not or more.
Probably more, and that's not counting any of the people that were working on the mine itself.
Well, we figure it out when we arrive there. I'll think of something. Everybody ready?
Yeah, right. Yep.
All ready to go.
Right, and let's press on.
Wait, everybody step up for your walking bacon.
Great. Olus, you're fine too?
Yes.
Good.
Kelleras grabs her walking bacon and gives Willem a little tousle on his head, like thanks, and a wink.
Mm-hmm. Passes went out
All right,
to
Gratol.
Gratol.
Mal starts heading off after sort of gauging which direction east is. I'd like a survival check and a perception check, one of each, please, from any person. Or one survival and one perception. Whoever wants to take them first.
I can take the perception.
All right, got a survival. Ooh, good perception roll. Okay. The morning passes comfortably. The ground is firm, but comfortable to walk over, as opposed to your treks through the Pinwood when you're climbing over roots and rocks and up and down hills and everything. This travel is far preferable, but it's still a good distance. Willem, about noon, roughly, you see, you spot off in the distance, a little ways, maybe to the south of your current trajectory, a thin trail of smoke sort of climbing up into the sky.
Hey, everybody, do you see that smoke?
Where? Oh, yes. Is that eastwards?
Sort of like east by southeast. Like if you're going to 3 o'clock, this is at like 3:30 through 4 o'clock, roughly. Like it looks like it should be close to your current heading.
Was there a furnace there, Gratol?
Well,
Nah,
tries
The mine?
to correct
Nah, we're a few hours
specifically
away still.
the direction.
Pardon?
As Willem tries to specifically correct Dunham on the direction.
A bonfire or something that can create this much smoke? Ask Gratol.
Could be a fire. Like I said, I haven't been traveling in these parts much. trying to avoid this mine and any of its things, peoples.
Well, at least it makes it easier to reach our goal or destination. What time of day is it? Like
It's
noon?
about noon. Yeah.
You think we'll be able to get there at sunset?
You're probably about. So you're a few hours from what Gratol said. That you should be at least a few more hours before you need to start moving carefully as you approach the mine. So this smoke doesn't look like it's coming from anything like that, and Gratol will confirm as such.
Okay.
Too close to be the mine. And probably too
maybe
far
a
from the mine
traveling
to be
party,
a wanderer.
hunting party, with some
Check.
merchants. I don't know.
Your call.
Let's better move around it. Mine is our priority. You think you can do that?
But what if it's somebody that needs help? Shouldn't the bloody Mad Dogs build a reputation by helping?
Oh.
And maybe earning rewards?
Well, Willem, I think the pressing matter is the poisoning of the water. I mean,
Certainly.
we can't save everybody.
No, but it seems odd, the smoke out here. Maybe there's a connection.
What about you guys? You feel the same? You want to investigate? We'll go around.
Rast is willing to do augury on this.
Okay. And what is the path for augury that you're?
Help go to the smoke or continue on the regular path. Just go to the smoke or not.
So augury it's not a phrase of or. It's a is this a good path or is XYZ a good action? And then you get wheel and woe according. So your augury. Let me see if I dilute this correctly. Would be is going and investigating that smoke good?
Correct.
Okay. As you go through and select the bones that you need to cast for this, as the group continues to walk, since you know you need to get a little bit closer, at least for the 30-minute timeline of augury, to the point where you're, according to Gratol and Dunnan, who have been sort of leading this expedition, hand in hand, metaphorically speaking. You hold up everyone and cast the bones. Whoa.
Okay. Willem? We're not going to the smoke.
Wheel for good results, woe for bad results.
Maybe we'll have time after then. You were right this time, Danny.
I understand the good intentions, Willem, but for now we better move to the mine.
I owe you an ale.
Always. All right, Gratol, around.
Here, Hallie, I've got an extra walking bacon.
You can lead us around. I know where the mine is. I'm not going around nothing. I've had it. I'm gonna lose my heading. Go ahead and make a survival check for me, Dunnan.
Okay.
Can I also do some foraging as we wander through?
You make a survival check with disadvantage, since you're doing it as you're moving.
To do everything by myself, yeah. All right. Step aside.
That's still pretty good, Willem. The only thing that you do spot, Willem, that seems to grow here and there in tufts of sort of small depressions in the soil every now and then is there's tufts of onion grass that you recognize as soon as you sort of stumble upon it the first time, and then you're sort of on the lookout for these small depressions here and there, and they're dotted maybe 300, 400 feet away from each other, but it seems like they grew up in natural divots where sort of any rainwater collects a little bit more heavily than the rest of the area, and keeps the soil a little bit moister there. And it's harvestable. It's great for putting into a stew or for seasoning one of your other dishes.
I'll take it.
Sure.
How much should I put down?
Go ahead and add a pound of onion grass. Yeah, and you, with your skills at this point, would know it'll be good for a couple days. And the entire plant is edible. Root, stalk, and leaf.
Yes.
And does not require to be cooked. It even has like a very small bulb about the size of a cherry that you can munch on as you go if you so choose. But good sustenance.
Sounds fantastic.
Okay. You carefully skirt this fire, that sort of smoke that's rising. You can't quite get a visual on the true source of where it is. It looks like it's coming out of a indentation into the ground, as you're the best eyesight amongst you gather, but eventually you move past it and are back when you're heading towards the mine. After about 2 hours of travel, after passing this smoke, Gratol holds up their hand. All right. See the clump of trees off the distance there, as they point about 500 yards ahead of the group of you. Mine's within there. Stay low. But mine's on the far side of that, if my coordinates are correct. But the deniers and I were always post up amongst those trees, or in the grasses around the trunks, have extra pieces of cover to keep an eye out and ambush anyone that came nearby.
I remember.
You were Dutton, you were not with them mechanically for that point.
Yeah, but in the past, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This job was after you had left them.
But I remember their ways.
Oh, okay. The tactics.
Yeah.
Got it.
So we approach silently and look out for any scouts in the trees or in the high grass.
As the group of us stop and Gratol and Tunin are speaking, my head just scans the skies to see if we're being followed.
Give me a perception check. Few clouds. It's a nice day. No birds or no people in the sky at the moment.
Okay.
No ravens. There are no ninjas, Willem. Or at least you find none. Definitely find none. As, Alright, so what does the group want to do? So...
There we go. My family, they said they're always out there watching.
So Grotto's
I
pointed
know
out
either.
this grove of trees that the group of you need to bypass to get to the entrance to the mine that where according to where they say it is.
And what time of day is it? How long have we been traveling for?
You've been traveling for about 8 hours now. It's late afternoon, about 4 o'clock. You probably have about 2 hours until sunset, and then about half an hour from there until twilight.
Okay.
And you've taken, we'll say mechanically, one of your two short rests throughout the day when you stop to eat and discuss the smoke.
Okay. Aeolus leaves it up to the group. He just has stayed silent.
I think we should approach by dusk. The light's getting low. So we could use the cover of the darkness to approach the mine.
Not a bad idea. I mean, there's not going to be any fires lit, I can tell you that.
Stealth has never been my
Strong
forte.
suit.
Yes. But I think there are too many to take on. Head on.
Potentially.
Let's get closer and try to sneak in some way.
So is the group waiting for dusk 2 hours from now? Or are you going now?
Like, how far are we away? Like
About
500
500 feet, yeah.
This like 10 minutes of walking or
Less. Yeah,
less? Okay.
It's like a minute of walking at a reasonable pace. Probably 5 minutes of like...
Okay.
5 to 10 minutes of like good sneaking.
Okay. I think we should wait for dusk and then start to get moving. Agreed?
Whatever you say.
Right.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think that's good.
Good.
Okay.
And get ready. Rest a little bit and then at dusk we move.
Okay. A couple hours pass as you all get everything prepared. This is more mechanical question. As you are sneaking forward, are any of you stashing your packs here to make yourself a smaller thing to be able to see? Or are you going to bring all of your gear with you just in case?
I think we might be able to pack a lot of our stuff in the bag of holding.
That's a sound idea, Willem.
Did
If it's
that go with
mechanically
Siegfried,
possible.
though? Who's carrying the bag of holding?
I believe Willem is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because Willem's the one that is the doler out of ale that is
Yeah.
contained therein.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was during the ale buy-in that I took it over.
Yeah, Helly will put hers in there.
Okay.
Done and to just leave his gear, his armor and shield and so.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. So four packs worth of gear. That thing is close to bursting, Willem, as you sort of are keeping track of it, on top of all of the keg and the cask that you stocked into it as well, based on weight alone.
Yep.
But with your packs lightened, you'll all effectively have a +2 bonus to your stealth as well. I'd like a stealth checks from the entire group, please. And I'll roll for Gratol.
Disadvantage.
Before the group heads off, Aeolus is gonna consume his mutagen.
Okay. This is
You're snacky.
the bonus one. Yeah. Disadvantage on intelligence checks. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, it's the speed one. Cool. Okay. And that lasts until you short rest or end it, right?
Yep.
Okay, noted. All right, Gratol got a 19, Willem 16, Dunnan 16, great roll. Aeolus, an 8. Okay. And,
Happens when you're sleepy.
and Hellras at 13. Okay. Decent overall, yeah. Aeolus not as great, but it's sort of saved. As you all creep through the grasses, as the sun is just starting to set, and you know it's setting behind you, you're towards the Cloudspine Mountains, many, many leagues away into the west at this point. You're moving towards the trees, carefully, sort of wiggling your way in between the grasses. You feel like a humanoid snakes for a few minutes, trying to minimize how the disturbance of the grasses go, move when there's a gust of wind and disturbance on the grass above, so that way as you go underneath it. The grasses here are about 3 feet in height. They're not as close to the pinwood anymore, so they've grown well. Takes you about 10 minutes of time to get close to the tree line. There's been no call out, no alert of intruders or ambushers. There's been no one that seemed to indicate that they've spotted you. However, with your passives, neither have you noticed anyone within the tree line at this point. As you get to the edge of the grasses, who would have been in the lead here?
I would be second after Gratol.
Willem is probably going to be the person with the longest vision and dark, so I would probably volunteer to be up towards the front.
Okay. So, Willem, you probably noticed this first then. As you approach the tree line, there are emblazoned upon this grove of trees is maybe not more than 100 trees. Like, this looks like it looks like a grove, but like nothing. It's just a small cluster to most of you who've grown up in a more forested area, especially you, Willem. But as you sort of gaze, you can see, and your vision shifts into the monochromatic realm. You see emblazoned upon some of these tree trunks carved sigils that are reminiscent of those that you've seen in the wake of Aeolus's burnt home.
I would be appropriate to do like an Arcana check on them, see if I recognize more of them now that I've continue
absolutely
learning.
So as you get closer and closer, give me the Arcana check. You're about 30 feet by the time that you can make it from the nearest one.
I would also, before I do this, I would have can't probably put my hand on. It sounds like Dunham. Dunham is the person closest to me, so I would have put my hand on his shoulder and pointed at the sigils before checking them out. Not that I expect them to blow up or anything, but
Give him an acknowledging nod.
You glance, Willem. You're not sure if you recognize them or not. You would need to wait another 10 minutes or so to safely parse through your book to double check everything, but you're pretty sure they're similar to some of the ones that you've seen.
if possible, I would try to do that, to say that, through hand gestures. Like, basically give me 10 minutes. This could be important.
Make me an insight check, Dunn.
This is not going anywhere good.
That's a complicated thing to convey with hand gestures. Dunn, you get the idea that Willem wants to wait.
Just shake my head.
I would, if possible, just get as close as I could and whisper, these sigils, they could be important. We've seen them in the past, and I think they could be dangerous. Just give me a few minutes to flip through my book and look, please.
You got 3 minutes.
I need
We have to
10.
move on. Too much. We can't just wait here.
Well, perhaps.
5. Do it in 5, and then we move on.
Okay. Quickly as possible, tries to flip through and find the appropriate pages.
Sure. Give me an investigation check in that case, though. As you're hurriedly rummaging through the different pages. Glancing at the trees, you see they each have a sigil emblazoned upon them. Seems foreboding. You find one match in the pages that you parse through in this time, and like the sigils that you read through. You do find one that matches to one of the trees there, but there's 6 or 7 others that you see immediately, especially with your vision, that you are unable to match in that 5 minutes of time.
And this was all the way back from what, the time of the needle monster, or?
No, not quite that far. So these were the ones that you took note of when you and the group of you followed and pursued from Aeolus's burning home into the Pinwood, and you took note of some of the sigils upon the trees there.
Yeah. So I would probably try to gather Aeolus and Dunham and tell them quietly this and say, I can tell it's trouble. Please, just give me a few more minutes. 5 more minutes won't be enough to ruin it, but it could be enough to keep us safe, please. I can
It
feel
means
it.
we're on the right trail.
Yes, but let's do this right.
They are just waymarks, Willem. At least they were last time. Just stay there. We have to go. We have to use the cover of the darkness. You can come back later and you can investigate them. Now it's not
Perhaps
the
they can
time.
tell us more of our enemies, though.
Killarast is going to back Willem. Killarast is going to back Willem and say, just give him.
We are risk of being discovered while waiting here. We have not been noticed until now. We have to move on. If we stay here,
Well,
you might see us.
At the time the argument's happening, I'm at least using my magic to make notes of what they are. Because it sounds like it's going to... I'm interpreting it as, and we're going to move forward.
Gratol will obviously take odds against Dunnan's opinion of moving forward. Give the boy some time.
I don't care what you say. We move on now.
What if they're dangerous?
We're making too much racket now. I've at least
This whole
drawn
enterprise
what
is
they are.
dangerous.
They
They
were
expect
here last time.
Yes. So, you scared of some symbols carved into the trees?
As the rest of you sort of sneak up to this little powwow circle of all of you sticking your heads together in the grasses.
Aeolus is gonna step a few feet away, cause
Crawl a few feet away.
well, yeah, he has very much like restless leg syndrome at this point, with the mutagen making its way through his body.
yeah.
I also think about this point, Willem would have given up. Just feeling like it's, we're not going to be listened to, but it's going to make him be extra alert. And as I said, if it's possible, I would have just used the magic to at least draw out what these runes are real quickly in my book.
That's good.
And then
Killarast will lean over to Dunnan and say, symbols are usually a warning, Dunnan. Just so you know. Symbols are usually a warning of some kind.
Yes. But we are not anybody. We came here fully knowing the risk. And why did we come here in the first place if we just turn back by seeing some symbols?
We're not saying we're going to turn back, Dunham. We just may want to use a little bit more different kind of caution.
One
But
last
do it,
question
you do
from
it.
the DM. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
I'll
you do
ask.
you, Dunnan.
We are moving on. End of discussion.
Yeah, well,
Would comprehend languages tell me anything?
you've attempted it in the past, and it was unsuccessful.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you couldn't attempt it again, but you, as a character, would have serious doubts over the ability of the spell.
Yeah, it's new to me, so I think I would have tried it, or I would try it.
Sure.
Just out of desperation at this point. It
Sure.
feels like a...
Mark up the spell slot and roll me another investigation check with advantage, please. Okay. As you utter the incantations under your breath and continue to flip through the pages, your finger stops, and some of the pages fall to either side. You know where you've seen some of these symbols before, not just one. Emblazoned upon the trees, and sort of as you sort of shift around, you realize that from certain perspectives, these sigils would line up to form like complex series. And as you've taken notes of like which these are, you know where you've seen some of these before. You recognize this series, like if it's lined up correctly, or unscrambled, sort of, or you're standing in the right position, looking at the trees, perhaps. You recognize it as the first series of sigils that were in Lander's notes that you found hidden away previously.
Oh, I got it. I found it. It's from
that
the
first
Lander's
line
notes.
from the double right angle one to the sort of the backward slash.
Do you remember? This is what it is.
Great. So, didn't
What-
help us in the past.
It's that series. There, I put it in adventure notes.
There's at least a spell slot well used. I'll take it.
You happy now? Can we move on now?
Yes.
Good. No more distractions. And then I will continue onwards.
Go ahead and make me another stealth check, please. As you progress. Man, Roll20 does not like me. There we go. Okay. So Willem got a 12, Dunny got a 14, Halras got a 12. Gratol gets a 23. That's really good for them. And Aeolus. Need a stealth from you as well, if you are back.
I think not.
Okay. We'll have Aeolus roll when they get back. Okay. Pushing forwards into the tree line. Oh, thank you, Aeolus. There we go. You creep past the first tree And those of you with the higher passive perceptions notice this first as you get closer, and then about 10 more feet. The grasses have turned away to short, so you've sort of gotten back up on your knees and crouched as you go from tree to tree, sneaking in, keeping an eye out for any interlopers. Rancid smell meets all of your nostrils. Like unpleasant decay. As you continue going from tree to tree, Willem, with your extended vision, notice this first. One of the trees up ahead, towards the far side of this grove that you sort of picture your way through, you see a pair of boots. It looks like someone's sitting down and leaning against a tree trunk and looking away from where the group of you are. You just catch the tip of their boots.
Willem would have, again, grabbed the closest person. Again, I'm assuming it's Denman, on the shoulder and point.
Are they moving in the tree? Do I see them?
No, they look.
Out at-
They're a little bit too far away for you, Dunnan. You get about 20 feet closer until your vision sort of solidifies. Yeah, you see the form of what looks like legs and boots. It looks like someone probably has their ass against the tree trunk and like they're leaning against it, but they're on the far side of the trunk. So you sort of see the leg sticking out as they sort of lean. And that's all. But it doesn't look like they're moving at the moment. Looks like they're resting.
Bad feeling about this. What's that smell? Does that smell resemble anything we smelled in the past?
Give me a history check.
Nope.
Nothing that you recall. It's quite unpleasant.
Let's get a little closer. But I have a bad feeling. And I'll slowly approach a little closer, but keep an eye on that person in the trees.
Yeah. You keep an eye on their boot, seeing if any sound that you make accidentally alerts them. You're quiet, especially with less weight on your back. Stepping over
You know what?
an odd root
Sorry,
and rock.
Spencer.
Yeah.
I take a rock and throw it in the different direction and see if the
Alright.
person on the tree moves.
Make me an
That's the
athletics
sound
check.
of the storm.
See how far you can throw the rock.
Athletics.
Great throw. Good 80 feet away. The rock clatters against a tree trunk. Aim true. Makes a loud noise, relatively. The boot doesn't move.
I think that confirms my suspicion. I think somebody was here before us and cleared out or killed the people here. Shit.
Can I scan the area for anything fey, fiend, or undead?
Sure. Go ahead and make a survival check to see if anything seems otherworldly, influenced by otherworldly forces.
And my blood hunter ability gives me advantage, so
Yep,
it
so
would
straight
cancel
roll.
out the disadvantage.
Yep.
I will do the same with Divine Sense.
Okay.
I got it, why not use it?
Alright, fantastic. Aeolus, nothing seems influenced in it by any way. Dunnan, you do not detect anything that any creatures that sort of radiate in this way, nor does the area appear to be desecrated or is consecrated.
Mm-hmm. Can I take a rock and shoot the person in the trees?
Well, they're not in a tree. They're sitting on the ground
Or
against the trunk of the tree.
on the ground.
On the
Then
far side of the trunk of the tree.
I'll do that.
So you're throwing a rock at them?
Yeah.
Conan,
What?
would you like one of us to go up and investigate?
Yeah, you know what, Gratol, why don't you go ahead, huh? You're always confident in your skills.
Why don't you go ahead, my dear?
Aeolus walks forward.
Hilareth will put her hand on Aeolus' shoulder for a moment, and she's going to cast Past Without Trace.
Okay. That lasts as long for the next hour. As long as each of you are within 30 feet of you, Hellarest. Plus 10
Right.
onto those checks that we've made previously. Okay.
We're all going to go together to investigate the boots.
Okay.
It's
Even
just
better.
it's just Aeolus will be ahead of everyone else,
Sure.
I guess.
Well, as you creep forward, the sound of your footsteps, even upon the dirt, dust, and dead grasses, muffled. Shadows sort of clinging to your form as Hellarest's magic takes hold. You get closer, there's zero response from this leg and boots that you see. Till you standing basically on the side of the tree and carefully look around, and you see the corpse of a young man. Human, appears to be. His throat has been slit, and there are obvious signs of decay upon his body. The smell is coming from this individual.
You recognize this fellow, Gratol? One of your old companions?
Stands up out of the crouch that they were in, sort of takes a look around. Not one of the members, mind you, but if I recall correctly, I did hire him, Armskirk, 6 months back when we were building out enough force to be able to take this job. Must have stayed on. Don't remember his name.
Yeah. Not surprised that you don't
Michael?
know their name.
Mitchell? You like it was something with an M.
It seems like any other party is interested in the mine besides us, or besides the one they were here before you.
Or the ones that hired them wanted to cut off loose ends.
They were the reason. I don't think we need to be stealthy anymore. Do we hear anything? Anything coming from the mine? Any activity?
Gratol gestures at the what you now see looks to be like a hill sort of facing away from you. Mine entrance is just there, going down into the hill.
Let's creep a little closer, and if we don't see anything, I think we can just walk right in.
Over the next 4 minutes or so, you creep past the grove of trees, and then carefully drop yourself down the about 15-foot sort of ledge and outcropping. And you see what looks to be maybe an open cave, a natural cave of sort of an outcropping of rock. And within it, about 15 feet in, is a single torch that's just crackling slowly with a ruby light.
I would like to scan the area, see if there's anyone possibly hiding, any recent activity, within the
Perception check.
last couple hours.
Perception check, please. Nice roll. Do a good once over of the space. Your dark vision and Willem's extends down, and it looks like the cave sort of goes down at about a 40-degree angle, into this darkness. There doesn't appear to be any trampled grasses. There's no remnants of cook fires, campfires, no spaces where a bedroll might have been laid out recently. Other than the torch that's sort of sitting in the entrance to this cave, this place looks natural and uninhabited.
Don't see anything else.
No, nothing that would make obvious signs to passerbys that there's anything within.
There's not even
Besides
tracks
the
leading
torch.
into it.
We should
So
be
it's-
careful.
You're sure, Gratol, that's the right mine?
I'm positive. This is where we were. The only time any of us really went in, though, was twice. First when we were given a brief tour of the entrance and if we needed to take shelter from something. Or the elements. We were told not to go too far in. And then second when we went to go get paid. It's winding down there. Picked up our final payment and gonna get out of there soon enough.
I think by this point it's safe to assume that the guards there were positioned here are dead or have left their post. Well, alright, let's get to the entrance and investigate the place. But keep your eyes open and your ears. I'm having a bad feeling.
You're at the
Sweet.
entrance at the moment, so.
We are at the entrance.
You're at the entrance, yeah. You're standing on
Okay.
the dirt area that's outside of the cave.
Okay, then I'll take one torch of mine from the back
Okay.
out of the hole and light it on the one at the entrance.
Yeah, so you enter in the 15 feet,
Mm.
hold your torch to that one, pull your torch
Stay
back.
close.
Your
Aeolus
torch crackles
is-
to life with a yellowish red flame.
I-
Not quite the true ruby flame that the other one has.
I hand on Tunin and stop him.
What now? You scared?
I'd rather look for anything that may possibly set off maybe traps or floor plates. Gratol, can you help me?
It's not my area of expertise, per se, but I can keep an
I
eye
don't
out.
think they are traps. How would they trap an entrance? I mean, they were using it day in, day out. It'd be foolish to trap an entrance, but sure.
It would be foolish to trap any part if you weren't aware of how to walk past it.
I don't think that the usual miner would know how to disarm a trap, but sure, go ahead.
Aeolus will, as we continue forward, will look for traps.
Are you trying to scan out ahead of you, in which case you'd be perception, or are you proceeding slowly, so half pace, and checking the floors and the walls and the ceiling directly in front of you? Which would be investigation.
Aeolus would like to proceed slowly, but he leaves that up to Tunin. It's your call.
Sorry, again, my call, if we investigate or not.
Yeah, so investigate or perceive. So perception is you'd be moving at a normal pace, and you're just sort of scanning out what's ahead of you, see if anything's untowards. Um, Investigation, you'd have more chances to see things that are directly in front of you before they get triggered, in case there is something. But you would be proceeding at half speed.
Talent's style is perceiving and walking, not investigating.
Okay. ALS, go ahead and give me a perception check. Are you leading the group into this?
Yeah, I'll be one of the ones up front
Okay.
because I don't want to fall into any pressure plates or anything.
Noted. All right. Go ahead and give me another perception check in that case then. Go ahead, Will.
Before we get too far, I'm to take a look at the slightly different colored torch, and probably take it unless it seems to be trapped or whatever.
You lift the ruby torch out of its holder.
Well, I would start by looking at it and seeing if it seems normal.
Looks like a torch. It's just the flame is just red. There's no
then
yellow or blue or orange.
Sure. Then I would snag it.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody.
You lift the torch out of the holster. Nothing happens. It's a torch. You are holding the torch. All right. Continue downwards. Good roll, Aeolus. The entrance of this natural cave gives way about 40 feet, and then it starts descending downwards at a more steep angle. Haphazard steps cut into it, here and there, but not commonplace. It's about a 40 degree angle downwards. It's a little bit sharper than you would like, but not so much that you're going to be sliding if you lose your step, so to speak. So you make your way deeper into the mine. The air grows heavy and damp. The smell of earth and minerals filling your nostrils. The only sounds are your own breathing, the odd scuffle of your feet upon the dirt and stone, and the dim light from your torches that flickers and dance on the walls, casting eerie shadows that seem to twist and writhe in the darkness. As you move further in, you begin to notice two things. Present, mixed into the sounds of everything else going on, is the intermittent drip of water. And you notice strange markings etched into the walls and floor. Symbols and sigils that you can't quite place, but seem familiar, Willem. After you've descended about what you suspect is close to 200 feet below the surface of the savannah, the tunnel opens up, and the flickering light of another red torch on the wall betrays the change of the walls from worked earth and stone to a medley of natural formations that dominate the space. The only sign of any type of habitation within the space, other than the torch sconce, is etched carvings that are dotted piecemeal throughout the space. Let me move you guys to a map. Ping you down to where you should be. Okay. In the mines, let's take our mid-session break here.
Alrighty.
7-8 minutes.
Yeah, call 7-8 minutes.
Sure.
Bathroom, refill coffee, everything that people need. Sounds good.
Okay. Got it.
See you in a
I
bit.
will talk to you guys later. If
Take
I'm able
care.
to hop in on audio, I will.
All right, fantastic.
Okay.
Well, hopefully we'll have you, and I'll try to make sure
Yep.
to be descriptive. I'll be extra descriptive if you are able to.
Alright.
Alrighty. Talk to you, the
Adios.
rest of you in a few.
Bye-bye.
All right, getting into it. The area here, part of the mine that you've traveled through was very clearly worked. This area, and Gratol confirms that the only time they've been down to this far was that when they got their final payment. They never descended this far into the earth prior to then, and did not see much of it at that point. But they will confirm this whole area appears to be like maybe a natural underground cavern that was mined too, and then used as an extension. But here you are.
There have been no signs of any guards or any miners.
Give
Just
me
the usual tools lying
me-
around, or
you don't even see any tools lying around at the moment. But give me a survival check. Ooh, nice roll. As you sort of survey the area here, you do notice that there are footprints here, as opposed to outside of the entrance to the cave that then became the mine, where there was none. Maybe it was covered up out there to make it look like a natural area. Here you see several scores of different footprints, milling about in and out of the space here.
seems like this area has been pretty busy. I see there's footprints here. They're everywhere. I think we're gonna find what we're looking for further down.
Now, with natural 20 there, you also notice something that sort of catches your mind. This was described as a mine by Gratol. And like the previous area through like the tunnel that led down to this natural cavern would indicate as such as well. Something that you notice a lack of here that you would have expected to see is the tracks of mine carts or wagons that are designed for traversing uneven underground terrain. They usually have big knobby sort of wheels made to be able to go over different shaped rocks. You do not see any of those tracks within the space, just footprints.
If this was a mine, why are there no carts? How did they get the iron or the whatever they mined here out of here? It's strange. Can I don't know, does Gratol's stand, so does he shift, do they shift or do they look uneasy or on edge?
Gratol? Give me an insight check. Hard to read. They're sort of just taking in the environment at the moment. But they don't have any like weird twitches or furrowed brow any more than you would have expected. They don't seem uneasy, but they don't seem at ease either.
You ever been down here, Gratol?
I said I have been, but none of these carvings were on the stones as they look around at all of the different sigils that have been carved piecemeal into different sections of this natural cavern.
Do you know what they were mining down here?
Green gems glow with a luminescence. I saw them when Len and I went to collect our final payment. I was expecting to get paid in some of them, but nope, just coin.
Well, let's move on.
How long has it been? Do we still have Pass Without Trace going?
I'd say at this point you have about another 15 minutes of it.
Okay.
Okay. Proceed onward. The passageway sort of curves away, and you can see the beginnings of would look to be somewhat carved into a steeper section, steps downwards. up ahead.
Mm-hmm. Stay close now.
Done like another perception check for you as you go also. I'm assuming the group of you are moving quietly, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
As quietly as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind. Fantastic. All right. You can go ahead and continue proceeding, Dunnan, if you'd like. Okay. Dunnan, as you approach the second set of steps that's sort of been carved in, you're taking a glance out at everything, and you are holding a torch at the moment. Let me actually apply that light on your token. There we go. One of the shadows on the steps sort of catches your eye for a moment. You see it looks like the center, about the center 5 feet of the third step down is raised about barely maybe an eighth of an inch above the rest of the surrounding step.
Better touch this, and I point out the raised stone.
There is a set section of that same third step to either side of it that's about a foot wide that is not raised.
So I gingerly walk around.
Okay, so you're going intentionally to the outside of the raised section, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Carefully, step. As you step around the outside of this raised section, the lower section depresses slightly. And there's a twing, and you see embedded into your forearm a small dart. You take 2 points of piercing damage. And I need a Constitution saving throw against poison, of which you have advantage because you're a dwarf. You feel the brief bit of lethargy sort of wash over you for a moment before it passes. A little bit tired. Feel like you could have gone to sleep there for a moment, but you're good. It passes briefly, and then you're alert again.
All right, Aeolus. Some traps here. I just pluck the dart out. Cheap pricks. Now, better step over that whole stair. Jump over it.
Okay. The rest of you and Gratol are able to safely traverse past the lower section, which seems to be the pressure plate, and just skip the stair entirely. All right, let me adjust your tokens to the next area. Okay, and I have a description for this space here. I'd like a stealth check from all of you, please, also, as you approach into this space. And keep in mind you have a plus 10 bonus. So 17, 13, 28, so 27, 13, 28. Welcome back, Willem. And let me get Gratol's. Gratol pulls
Thank you.
Comfortable 27 as well. Oh no, sorry, 21. Pardon me. Okay.
Had to heat up some leftover Chinese food.
All good. As you step into the next cavern, the first thing you notice is the intense heat that seems to emanate from the water before you as you've descended down. The water is steaming, and the air is thick with the acrid smell of sulfur. Bubbles rise from the depths, bursting at the surface with a hiss and a pop, and you can hear the faint sound of your footfalls echoing off the walls, accompanying the slow bubbles. The water itself is inky black, reflecting the dim light of your torches in a way that makes it seem bottomless. You feel the weight of the darkness pressing down around you, and it's hard to shake the feeling that something is lurking just below the surface. You feel you're being watched by something malevolent.
Better stay clear of that and be quiet. Don't want to wake up if there is something sleeping inside there.
This bubbling lake betrays additional signs of habitation within this space. There are plank bridges set from the shore ahead of you to a large sort of rock island in the center, and then to an even larger rock island from there. And just on the edge of, I think, your vision, Willem, you see a far shore and the trappings of a ladder that ascends about 20 feet to somewhere that you cannot see. In the middle of this lake, there is a large crate on the bigger of the two islands. You're not sure what's in it, though. That's the box marked with a T.
Slowly approach the bridge there.
Okay.
And inspect it. Does it seem like it can hold some weight, or it is close to crumbling?
Looks to be well reinforced at first glance. It's about 2 feet above this bubbling surface of the water.
Then would just slowly approach and hold on to the ropes. I don't know, on each side.
Okay.
Just slowly try to make his way over.
Well, you have a torch in one of your hands, so you could hold on to one of them.
Right, just the one, yeah.
And it's a rail, not a rope.
A rail, okay.
As you carefully pick your way across, it's sort of testing each plank before you put your weight onto it and continue moving forward. It holds your weight. Not even a creak. Looks to be well made.
Then he's reassured and will continue forward over the second bridge.
Okay. As you get to the second sort of island here, this the bridge that goes to it ascends slightly upwards. This is a little bit higher up, about 4 feet off the surface of this bubbling water, where this flatter section is with this large crate. As you ascend to this height, with the edges of the torchlight, you can see about 20 feet above your head the presence on the ceiling of the cavern here. Met the formations of spelotherms, like stalactites, or stalagmites, pardon me. No, stalactites, ceiling. All clustered all over the ceiling of this cavern. You're just getting the tips of it within the torchlight. And they're casting shadows here and there. Now that you're at a higher elevation. And you can see ahead of you, relying on your dark vision beyond the range of your torch. The ladder looks to be well made. It ascends a steep cliff that looks like it goes up about 25 feet, such that if you were on the ledge up at the top, you would not be able to see very well into this cavern, perhaps beyond the first bridge or about where you're standing. You just see the lip of it. Let me give you a quick doodle just for edification. So the cliff is like this, and then the ceiling of the cavern is like that. And you're right here, like as a side view type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
That's very close to our heads. This stalagmites.
They vary. That was just a doodle. The stalactites are about 20-ish feet overhead. They vary because of the different lengths.
Okay.
but they're clustered. It's like a porcupine on the ceiling.
Yeah. Okay. And the crate next to Dana, is it opened or?
Oh yeah, it's an open top crate. It's about 8 feet by 8 feet as it's sort of like balanced here and sort of supported onto this area. Glancing at it, it's filled. There are, let me see, contents that you spot immediately are mining tools, picks, shovels, hammers, pitons, wooden cutoffs, probably from construction of this bridge, and maybe ladders and things like that. Broken nails, all manner of everything that you could consider for mining, you see here. And all of it has familiar pockmarks on the metal, divots where parts of the metal have been eroded and away. You recognize what these pockmarks are. You saw them upon your very own axe in the pinwood. You only see about the top layer of all of this stuff. You would need to actually like dig through it if you wanted to see if there was anything else in here beneath this top layer, and it might take a few minutes though.
I would just wait for the others and better not make any noise. We can take a look later. But it seems like the ooze we found in the pinwood is also present here, or the source is near of it. Probably, I don't know. Come on, guys.
Done. You get to the far side comfortably. Willem, you sort of catch up with the rest of the group. Hellrest, you're on Demon's heels, correct? Hellrest.
Yes, on Dunnan's heels, but trying to make sure everybody's still under cover of that pass without trace.
Noted. Okay. So as you cross this last bridge, Hellrest, your footsteps echo a little bit more than your companions upon the wood. You're relying on the spell to keep you quiet, and it's sort of the idea of keeping yourself quiet and paying attention to that has sort of lapsed in your mind slightly. One moment, please. As it does, you hear your footsteps sort of echo and bounce around the cavern on this bridge. The bridge doesn't creak. It's made out of good, solid, sturdy wood. But there is as you hear the echoes, there's a keening, screeching sound coming from above your heads. I'm going to ask all of you to roll into initiative, please. As descending from the cavern ceiling come a bunch of fleshy, nude, bat-like mosquitoes.
Oh, God.
It's once again.
Let's see if I have a handout for them.
Wasn't it like the first monster we ever fought in the first campaign?
You as players know what these are. These are sturges.
Sturges.
You fought them at Firefinger.
Yeah.
All
Do
right.
remember.
I need Gratol into initiative also. All right. And sort by descending. Chrome does not want to cooperate with me. Everything's slow. Alright. Dunnan. Quick to spin around as you hear the sound of Hellerast's footsteps, realizing it's a little bit loud. And then you hear the screech of these creatures as they start to descend. You were not aware of their presence. You had the surprise condition. It fades. Gratol, same thing. Willem, same thing. Sturges. Okay, they fly towards Hellerast as she was the source of the sound. And then swarm Willem, the ones further away. And a couple on Gratol. Come on. There we go. Okay. Hellerast, so there's going to be 4 attacks against you to start with. Oh my god, why does it have to do all that? 23 to hit you on the first one. 21 on the second, and then 14 and 16. And the rest? Are you muted?
Sorry. The first 2 hit. I have a 16 in my armor class. So does that hit or does that miss?
Meets it, beats it, yeah. So the 16 hits as well. So 1 miss and... excuse me. 1 miss and 3 hits. So you got 7 points of piercing damage, 4 points of piercing damage, and 5 points. So that's 9, 16 points total. And the 3 of them that have sort of pierced into you with their needle-like beaks have sort of latched onto you at the moment. And it's holding on to you as it's going to try to suck your blood in preceding rounds. Willem, 4 of them are attacking you. Natural 1, 13, 21, and 12.
The 21 does it.
Okay. You get a whole 7 points of piercing damage, and 1 of them is latched onto you. So you have 1, and Hellerast, you have 3. I'm putting the numbers on the red dots to represent how many are attached to you.
Okay.
And then 3 of them are attacking Gratol. They do not have their armor up yet. So that is 12, 13, and 10. Okay. The 13 hits Gratol using just their dexterity bonus. So they take 5 points of piercing damage. And 1 is attached to Gratol. Alright. That then brings us to Hellerast. Your surprise condition ends. And top of the order, Dunnan. As you've whirled, these things descended on your companions faster than you were expecting. Round to you. What will it be?
I'll step closer and first will touch Hellerast with my bonus action and give her a shield of faith.
Ooh.
So you got
Oh,
plus
thank you.
2 your AC. And then we'll shout over, "Get behind me!" And we'll use my action to use... Where is it? The Conquering Presence
Ooh.
on all of them.
Each creature you have choice that you can see within 30 feet. Wisdom save. Frightened of you for 1 minute. Okay.
And tell the others, "Get behind me!"
Wisdom save. What's your spell save DC? 14? Okay.
I think
3,
14.
4.
Yeah.
1, 2. Okay, so 10 of them. 19 on the closest. We're just going to work from you to furthest away.
Yep.
So 19, top left. 9 on the right. I'm going to mark the frightened ones in purple. 0 on the one to the south of that. 1 on one to the next to that. All right. 15 on the next one. The one attached, one of the ones attached to Willem. 15 on the next one. 18 on the next one. All of Willem's are fine, and then all of the ones on Gratol are frightened. All right. And they repeat the save end of each turn.
Yeah.
All right, noted. So all of the purple ones are frightened. You got 6 of the 10. Pretty solid.
That's
Are
it.
those the same 3 that are trying to suck my blood?
One of the ones that's not frightened is also attached to you.
Oh, okay.
So of the 4 that attacked you, one of the frightened ones is not attached yet.
Okay.
All right, and that'll bring us to Gratol, who will spend their action and bonus action to pull from their boot a narrow rod about 6 inches in length, and shout the command word, and it becomes a large crag hammer. And their armor appears upon them, conjured from somewhere. And that's their entire turn. That brings us to Willem.
All right. So Willem will go ahead and first get the fuck out.
Sure. Alright. You had 1 attached to you.
So it still comes with me.
I'm not sure. Roll me a percentage dice. High or low?
Low.
Low. Alright. Low, it doesn't come with you. One of them comes along for the ride, Willem. But ask.
That's all I had attached to me anyway, so
Not as much because it was holding on to you, but because part of it was inside of you.
yeah. Let me think.
It does take 1 point of damage for the effort, we'll say.
Fair. And I can still cast a cantrip, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Is this against the one that's on top of you?
Yes.
Okay. As you appear and still feel the thing sort of holding into your leg, you conjure the darkness. Nope, fails with a 12, and the thing just gets torn off of you. It's like when you pull off a tick, where part of the head still sticks in you for a moment, and there's a squelching sound as you pull your magic pulls this thing apart before you can finally remove the head. That thing's dead. Can't survive that. All right. Anything else, Will?
These things are disgusting.
All right. That'll bring us to the Sturges. Okay. 3 of them are attached to you, Hellerast. I need you to roll me 3d4, please.
Okay. Oh, did I check that wrong? Did you do it? No.
I need slash roll 3d4.
Oh, slash roll thing. Ah.
There we go. 16. All right. On your turn, Hellerast. Or sorry, not on your turn. On the Sturge's turn, the 3 of them that are attached to you drain some of your blood, and you take 13 points of damage from the blood loss. Loss of life, not actual damage. And one of the ones that's attached detaches and gains a little bit of altitude. If I could actually, there we go. So this one that's not frightened gains some altitude, and it's flying about 10 feet above your head, Dunnan, looking for its next meal. One of the ones that was not attached to you has to actually make an attack. It has disadvantage thanks to Dunnan's fear. Gets an 11, doesn't hit you.
Nope.
The two that were going after Willem, one of them is immediately going to turn towards Gratol. The other is flying towards Dunnan at the big commotion that Dunnan just caused. So one attack on Dunnan. 21 to hit you, Dunnan.
Yes.
5 points of piercing, and you have one attached to you.
Well, that stinks.
And then one attack.
Is it also reduced by the heavy armor?
It is, yeah. One attack on
That's
Gratol. Now that they have their armor up, that is a miss. They have one attach, 2 more attacks at disadvantage. Both miss thanks to the fear. And then one that was on top of them, Gratol takes 5 points of damage from blood loss. And that brings us to Hellerest.
Okay, Hellerast would like to put on the armor of Agathis, knowing that it's a little too late, but maybe the creatures that are still attached to her will take some frost damage, and maybe nothing else will get her.
Okay, so it's your action to cast Armor of Agathis. What level are you casting this at?
Gonna cast at level 2.
Thank you, Dan. On Shield of Faith, it's gone.
Okay.
It's gone?
You failed con save for concentration. Yeah. DC was 10.
Okay.
But thank you for remembering it. But, Armor of Agathis, fantastic. Second level, so you get 10 temporary hit points. And the frost covers your skin. Doesn't sort of go around their beaks that are embedded in you. But you have the protection from attacks. So we'll see how that plays out. That's your action. Hellerast, anything else?
Just gonna stay put, I think, because she doesn't want to drag any more of these closer to her companions.
Okay. That'll bring us to Dunnan. You one attached to you, the one to the south. And then the other one's 10 feet above you.
The one to the south is attackable?
Yeah, it's latched onto your arm, and its needle-like nose is in your forearm.
Try to fucking get it off.
Yeah, easy hit, and enough that you don't hit your own forearm with Basher. It's just squished immediately, and there's a small burst of blood, like a very small water balloon. And the sickening feeling is like, some of that's probably yours. After that thing's destroyed.
Ugh.
Oh, they have to make wisdom.
Ugh. Creepy bloodsuckers. You alright, Hellerast?
Yeah, I'm good.
Right.
Thanks.
Alright, anything else done?
No.
Okay. That'll bring us
One step
to
closer.
Gratol. And they will spend their turn. First, scraping the haft of the crag hammer across the one that's still embedded in them. That's 26 hits. Jeez. Just cracks the thing, and it splashes into the water as they scrape it off. The one is dead. That was one of the Phrygian ones. And then they'll make their second attack against one of the ones that's harrying them. 14 hits also. And they kill a second. And they are no longer stuck as we come around to Willem.
Have I seen them fight like this in the past? Or
You've
is
not
this
seen this
new?
crag hammer previously. This is new.
Okay.
And they didn't used to be able to conjure their armor out of nowhere.
Okay.
And it doesn't look to be magic. It doesn't look like mage armor. This just looks like proper half plate.
Take note of that.
Yeah.
Good to remember.
Oh my.
I messed with the first one, clearly.
Yeah.
I was attacking the two on Hellerest.
Noted. Okay. So one of them goes wide. Second one definitely hits. Give me some damage rolls there. ever there was a time for Chaos Bolt to start arcing.
Right.
You rolled a D28.
D28, yeah, I just saw that. I was like, what the?
Alright.
I figured, I guess.
No, roll 2d8 to see if. Alright, so the one that you target and do land the bolt on is just scattered to ash as it's annihilated. Okay. And that's one less that's on top of Hellerast.
Thanks, Willem.
And Willem, you have none attached to you. You can just remove the red dot. As we come around to the surges, the one is going to lunge down towards you, Dunnan, and try to attack. 19 to hit you. I'm not sure if that does.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
7 points of piercing reduced to 4 because of having Armor Master, and you are once again stuck.
One attached.
Hellerast, one is going to attack you. That's not currently attached. It is a 14 to hit.
Nope.
No good. All right. And the one that's on you is going to drain more blood. Go ahead and give me a D4 roll, please.
I'm getting a whole lot of lag. And...
Yeah.
Roll 20.
Yeah, definitely. Hellerast, you lose another 5 points of health to this thing draining your blood. It does then detach though.
Okay, cool.
So you're no longer stuck, but it seems like Armor of Agathis did not affect it draining the blood from you, because it's not an attack. It just you automatically lose it.
Well, shit. At least I got the hit points.
Yep. All right. And then 2 on Gratol. 9 and 18. 18 does hit Gratol for 6 points. And Gratol's stuck by one of them as we come around to Hellerast.
Okay. So, Hellerast, does she have anything still in her?
No, none of them are currently attached to you. The one that just was detached after it got the blood from you.
Okay. Let's see here. Is there a fairly straight line between these three? Here, between the one in Gratol and...
There's the 3 on the right side that you could in theory get in a line.
Okay.
Depends on what you're trying to do. If you have anything that has a line effect.
Yeah, no, I can't get there.
Yeah, or anything that you have that can target multiple things.
I was thinking of the Spellfire short bow. Maybe hoping that one of them would hit. It would keep going and hit 1, hit 2, hit 3. But I don't think that's going to happen. So
that's a magic missile, so you could use it to target multiple ones if you wanted.
Well, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. All right. So it consumes one of your spell slots. And it gives you a +1 bonus to the number of missiles you create. So what level spell slot do you want to consume?
This is going to be a 1 because I'm running out of...
All right, so first level, magic missile will give you 3, and then the Spellfire shortbow gives you a +1 missile, so you get 4 missiles that you can direct. Which 4 do you want to target? There's 5 currently.
All the ones south of me, not the one to the west.
Sounds good. Go ahead and roll the Spellfire shortbow damage, please. Nice, 4 points of damage. Now that nothing's attached to you and you can sort of get all of them in your line of sight, you pull back on your shortbow and the magic arrows sort of conjure in your hands. And as they're released, they split and wheel around the cavern, briefly illuminating it in the flash of their travel. Before finding their 4 homes. That is 4 dead sturges.
Sweet.
Gratol sort of looks over. Oh, thank you very much. As we come around to Dunnan. Still stuck.
Still one attached on me.
Yeah, 1 attached on you is the last one that any of you are spotting.
Get off me! Enough of my blood.
As you swing towards the one that's sort of probably in your thigh at this point, it found like a niche underneath your, like through your breeches. You feel bash or hit something, and then you realize it just bounced off the armor around your knee, and you wins in brief pain. 11 doesn't hit.
Little help here, Willem. Yeah, too small for me to hit. That's it.
Alright, and that brings us around to Gratol, who will happily rush forwards, and
I said Willem, not you.
like a sick game of croquet, you wince at a moment as you see the crag hammer swing back like a golf club going towards your knee before the sturge is just splattered against the wall by this ladder. And that's going to take the group of you out of initiative.
Don't think I'm gonna thank you for that. I had it under control.
Sure you did. That's why you have a hole in your breeches.
You have multiple holes on yourself. A nice trick with your armor. That's new.
When you leave, you miss out on fun things.
Who did you pry that off, huh? Who had to die for that?
Actually, no one on this one. Alright.
Sure.
Alright. So, Dunnan, you're scaling the ladder.
Yeah, before Gratol thinks they can take over the commander, go for it.
Okay.
Just scurry in front of them.
Sounds good. You climb about 20 feet up this ladder. Also remarkably well made. Everything that you've encountered here so far, other than the tools, are in good repair. You're greeted with the sight of a veritable graveyard of discarded containers, splintered crates, smashed barrels, crushed boxes that lay strewn haphazardly about this entire space. A score of feet across and twice as deep. The air is heavy with the musty smell of aged wood and petrichor. And soft crunch of shattered glass and splintered wood echoes throughout the room as you take a couple steps. Here and there you can make out the faint outline of a label or marking on some of the containers. But for the most part, everything is indistinguishable from the rest of the wreckage. It's difficult to discern exactly what may have been stored here, but it's clear that whatever was once contained within these vessels is now gone, leaving behind only the broken remnants of their former selves. There's a lot here, and it all looks like refuse and trash. The entire ground is covered.
You said there are some symbols, but not recognizable.
If you wanted to, you could take a look through. I mean, you still have your torch at the moment. So if you wanted to, you could take a look through to see if there are any recognizable symbols.
Just at a quick glance, not like intensely rummaging through, just...
At a quick glance over what you see as you take a few steps in, nothing. Nothing that you would need to take a few minutes to actually look through. You would be able to see if there was anything still valuable here at the same time, or you could, but at a glance, there's nothing that seems to be of value, and there's no symbols, sigils, brands, or anything like that you would recognize immediately.
It's not worth the time. Don't want to get ambushed again.
Someone's been busy as Gratol climbs up the ladder after Willem.
They sure were.
Not you. I meant this here area.
I just said I'm sure they were.
Look, this is a lot of food
Better
around here.
listen. Is it like a ridge or?
Yeah, so this is another cliff. It's about 15 feet up. It's another ledge. There's no ladder here though. It's 15 feet in height.
Okay.
Hellerest, you took a lot of damage through that fight.
Mhm.
Roll me like 10 Constitution saves, please.
Okay.
Okay. Pass without trace is down.
Yes, of course.
You would have had another 5 minutes or so of it. It was close to ending, but the fight takes it out of you.
She knew it was there.
Yeah. Do you still
I
have
was
any temporary
gone.
hit points left, by the way?
5.
5? Okay. So those still apply for the next hour, if I remember the spell correctly.
Yes.
So you still have those. All right.
Sounds good.
So throughout the space here, there's the ledge where you're standing down about 15 feet up. You can't see over it.
Mhm.
And there's no light coming from that space. The area here, like most of the spaces, still has like a single torch here and there of this like sort of ruby color set into a sconce. And there's a tunnel that leads south from this area.
Mhm.
And that is angled slightly downwards, not more than a 10-degree slope though.
You guys all right? And the rest? You got.
Good as I'll ever be. Let's go.
I think
Okay.
that point there will be a good point that we'll pick up on next session
Mm.
as the group of you decide which direction you want to head from here.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Everyone loves dungeon delves. Good session.
Yeah.